Have you ever felt busy all day and at the same time felt like you were not actually present for any of it? Wake up, get ready, go to work, go home, to the gym, scroll, rinse and repeat, living for the weekend and then back at it. What if Jesus never meant for us to live this way? What if joy can be found in a simpler life? What if we tried living unhurried? Today on the podcast, we're going to dig into what Jesus meant when he said that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. All right, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Welcome to the stage.
Welcome to you.
Welcome to the second
Is that
home.
a new thing we're trying?
What?
You hear that voice earlier?
Yeah, like the thing in the beginning. The thing we
Yeah.
heard a
That
minute
was the
ago.
voice of God.
It's called a home.
Wow. I thought it was the voice of Chris.
Oh,
Is that what God sounds like?
I
thought
don't
it was
think
more
I
so.
sure
like
hope not.
Morgan
I
Freeman.
sure hope not. I like Chris's
God's voice
though.
is sounding a little weak. It's sometimes moody. That is not my God. Yeah,
Wow. It's a good start. That's a good
it
start.
is.
I like the hook idea though. I think that's cool.
Thanks. We weren't actually supposed to call it out that we were discussing it, but, thanks.
Hunter always calls out everything, though. Nothing
Yeah,
can just
you want me to
exist.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
like-
hear that booming voice above me.
He, he literally is the definition of the fourth wall. What comes out of it?
There is no wall.
I'd
in
love to be a
Hunter's world.
fourth wall breaker this whole time.
Yeah.
I could fit that role. It's good.
How's your, we're recording this in April, so how's your April's going so far? We just got past Easter, so
those
April
April,
showers
showers
bring
are
May
bringing the May
flowers.
flowers.
literally might be the boat, though, this time.
What?
The Mayflower.
Oh,
Come on.
Chris,
Guys, that was funny.
that was funny. It just took a minute.
God.
That's all.
It's just been raining so much that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
It has.
Oh,
been.
that's fair.
it's almost arc-like conditions for a Mayflower to
Do you
come
guys
over.
remember when we first started doing the podcast and you thought it would be a funny bit when I would say something and you guys wouldn't talk after I said it? Now the
Switch
bit has
to me.
become Chris says something that doesn't make sense and Trevor and I look at each other.
Except
and then we
it
look at
did
Ashley.
make sense. You just
Yeah, you're right.
I thought you were saying April boats.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't know why
that doesn't
makes
make any sense.
sense. April's going good though.
Okay.
April's going good.
What were you saying about Easter?
I said we got past Easter and you're still alive, so
I am.
that's
That's true.
We
I
had
got
a
a
really
pulse.
good weekend of a lot of salvations, a lot of people.
Yeah, 54 first-time guests.
That's amazing.
It is.
That is incredible. How about you, Ashley? How's your April going?
It's going good.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it to the end of the month, Lord willing.
I was gonna say, was that prophetic?
That's good.
No, it's going really good though. Hoping for some more sunshine. We did have a little bit of glimpse of hope there for a few days.
Yeah.
It's coming back next week.
Is it?
By the time this is out, we should have had a sunny day. So.
Oh, great! It
It's
comes
all-
back and then I leave.
Yeah. Where are you going?
California
For what?
to get some sunshine.
Really?
Oh, are we visiting Greg?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We miss
I
Greg.
thought we couldn't name drop.
You did.
Greg's
just
my
name
friend that
drop.
lives out in California.
Yeah.
Our friend.
friend.
Thank you.
Just Ashley's friend.
And he's been asking me to come out. She's gone out twice now, and I've gone out zilch.
You can tag along if you want.
So, Greg, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
And thanks for listening to this all the way in California. You're really boosting our numbers on the West Coast.
Yeah, there you go.
Gosh.
We could use a little bit of that California sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
When do you go? When do you leave for that?
Next Tuesday.
Nice. Very cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah. How's your April been going, Chris?
Like a lead balloon, apparently, because I give
frick does
I
that
give
mean?
dad jokes, and it just oh my gosh! So we don't even get the lead balloon.
Mr. Mayflower.
Maybe we should just start over.
I don't think so. I think
Chris,
this is really good.
You are the easiest person to rage bait, and I love it so much.
You're
So
up
many
there.
people,
That's
She's up there.
I got another friend too that is very easy to rage bait.
and they are
It's Malachi.
oh
Super easy. Sports. Just talking anything sports he doesn't like.
yeah, but is that the only thing that you can rage bait him on? Because I
No.
feel like he
That's one of the
doesn't
big
get
ones.
I got him the other night going on something, but we'll leave it there.
nice. Well, today we're going to talk about the greatest spiritual enemy for our souls. Does anyone have a guess what
Satan.
we could possibly be talking about?
Rage baiting.
All good options, but no, we're going to talk about hurry,
That's
which I know none of us struggle with because none of us are like super busy.
No.
Actually, we're going to do like a 2-part series based on our favorite guy, John Mark Comer.
Our dear personal friend of the show,
Yeah,
JMC.
JMC. Wrote a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry, and if you have not had a chance to read it, even people who don't like reading will like that book. It's a very quick read, and it flows like super easy. It's very relatable.
Fun fact, I read that entire thing on my trip to and from California last year.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
It's pretty good, Ashley.
It's good. Maybe I'll refresh it this year. I feel like that would be really good for me.
You
Yeah.
could read the sequel, though.
What?
Ruthless Elimination of Hurry 2.
Too?
Is
Yeah.
that a thing?
Yeah, I
Is
don't
there
think
another
there's
one?
yet.
Okay.
There
Coming
should be.
soon, though.
Be careful, because John Mark, he's not going to like us.
He's listening.
Yeah, he's not going to
He's
like us.
always
He's listening.
Oh, boy.
Oh, God.
Can we hurry it up and get to
Get
our
us-
conversation?
Yeah,
Get us
seriously.
back on track, Chris.
So, guys, have there been a time recently where, like, you didn't feel hurried at all? Like, you had a day where it was just, you got to the end of it and you were like, huh, nothing was crazy.
There was this time when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Had a feeling something like that
I
was
think
going
if
to
you
come out
go
of your
back,
mouth.
I think if you go back in the archives, it's probably most of our stories is something from when we didn't have too many responsibilities.
My most recent time was last Monday. I had a day off, and I just hung out for most of the day. Actually, it was a phenomenal day. I woke up, went to the gym, then I went to PetSmart, and I bought 2 snails for my aquarium upstairs. Upstairs here, that is. And then I went home, and I did something else. I don't actually remember what else I did. And then I watched the Sabres game, and then I watched the new episodes of Invincible.
Wow.
Ever heard of that one?
No.
Didn't think so. And then I played some video games, and then I went to bed. And that doesn't happen often. I had the day off. It was really nice.
It was also the day after Easter.
No,
No, that
I
was
talking
the
about
other
Wednesday.
one.
Oh, I thought you said Monday.
I did say Monday. I meant last Wednesday.
Well, Monday was also.
Oh, and then I saw the Mario
Great.
movie. That was it.
Yeah, it was
we
great.
saw the Mario
We
movie.
did see the Mario movie.
The new
We
one?
sure
Yeah.
did. I didn't get to watch any of it.
You watched 30 minutes.
Why? What?
He
I
had a phone call.
had a phone call.
Oh.
Business call.
She's
Bailey
not
call.
business.
Business
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
But either way, my answer was last Wednesday. I'm sorry. We've had the most name drops in this episode in the first 5 minutes than any other episode.
Yeah, we need to knock it off. We're not supposed to be doing that. I started it. I forgot to ask if anyone brought their Bible, but we have digital versions of it. Hunter, can you go to Matthew 11?
Yeah.
Does anyone know what's in Matthew 11?
Some good stuff.
The Beatitudes.
No. Verse 28. Actually, it might be. No, that's Matthew 6.
Yeah, it's Matthew 6.
I know better. Hang on a minute. I know my Bible.
Okay.
Verse 28 to 30. Can you read that for
28
us?
to 30.
Yeah.
Yes. It says, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am lowly and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light."
What is that? I was just about to ask what feeling does that evoke, and you literally emoted the feeling that it emotes.
Yeah, just. I think it brings some just like peace.
Yeah. Isn't it weird though that like I don't know if weird's a good word, but Jesus literally says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I'll give you rest." But like if we're in Christ already, why is that not our like steady state? Like our resting heart rate, as you could say. Why do you think that is?
Like, why is it not going to Christ first?
Yeah, or just even living in that truth. Like, he calls it out in the Bible for an obvious reason. And it's wild to me when you spend enough time, like, really sitting with this passage. If you can get past your current life, what does that passage start to look like? Like, he's preaching to people who had none of the luxuries and technologies we have. And he's still saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened." Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we've traded some of the like agrarian society type things of, physical weariness for mental weariness. But it is still kind of wild to see, like, man, the pace at which even they were living their lives prompted the Savior
Right. To make mention
to
of
say
it.
something.
Yeah.
To make mention of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the reason that we don't find ourselves living there all the time is just with everything you're saying. We're in such a fast-paced world right now, where everything is accessible within the click of a button.
Yeah.
I saw one thing. There was a meme. I don't think I've referenced this before, but there was a meme I saw one time on my phone where it said something along the lines of like when you're trying to fall asleep and you realize that you have all the information of the entire world at the touch of your fingers, and then you wonder why you can't go to sleep because your mind is just constantly racing and thinking of everything that's on your phone. Because it was a funny meme, but at the same time, it's really true. Like our brains are going so fast.
Do you think of that when you go to bed?
Well, not in that way necessarily, but
I
think
purposely tell myself that I'm dumb.
that you're
Like,
dumb.
I don't need to know everything. Good night.
Well, I don't.
It's not a bad strategy.
That's not a bad strategy. Don't call yourself dumb, though, Chris. You're one of the smartest people I know right now.
Right
for
now.
sure. Yes. Like on the stage, for sure.
Such a wise way of saying.
No, but I think that we just live in such a fast-paced world that, like, we are not always as intentional with the things that we should be as we should be.
Sure.
Like being in the Word or being in prayer. Those are ways that are really easy to slow down, but sometimes the things of the world do excite us more even if they shouldn't, or they call to us more even if they shouldn't. I think just as humans, we find it very easy to fall into those traps, which I know we're going to get to some of those traps in a little bit, so I don't want to spoil
Sure.
that now, but
What do you think the connection is between having like a hurried lifestyle, which is funny because I think a lot of people probably wouldn't like openly admit to that. You usually have to dig with people to be like, hey, we were having a conversation last night in the office, rattling off things that an individual has going on in their life, and I was like, my goodness, like that is crazy. But how do you think it like impacts our relationship with the Lord? Like, what do you think it does to that, having a hurried lifestyle?
I mean, I think it can strain it.
Yeah.
I don't think it always strains it, but I think if you're not being careful with what it is that you're like exposing yourself to and filling up with, it can certainly strain it. Because then your mind goes to, well, I'm finding comfort in this other thing right now.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of the hurry and stuff, if you're finding your comfort in, doom scrolling or watching TV or anything in between that, like there's so many things that we can do that get our mind off of it, that it then disconnects us from God, or at least like in our minds disconnects us from God because there are other things we're prioritizing above Him.
Yeah.
Each day you get one pie with 24 slices. And where those slices go can go to so many different things. So if 8 of those slices is to sleep, one slice of pie is an hour. Then you've got...
Okay, it was taking me a minute. I'm like, 24?
Really?
I don't know why it was taking me
Man,
a
I was
minute.
going to say, I thought this was going somewhere. I could tell that you were not going with me.
I'm with you now.
You're talking about the pie of a day.
I
pie
got
of the day.
I got on
Pie
the
of
boat.
life.
Get it?
Sorry, keep going. So we have 8 pies pieces going to sleep.
8
Like-
pies.
But once your pie is gone, it's gone, right? And you get a new one tomorrow with the same 24 slices. But like, there's going to be something that's lacking if you look at it that way. And so the more things that you have to hand slices to, the less that your relationship with God is going to get, or the less that your relationship with somebody else is going to get, or the less that sleep you're going to get, or the less health, or the less whatever. And so being super intentional with your time, like we all have the same amount of time. And there are some people who I know in my life who I'm like, I swear they have more time than me. But no, they say yes to the important things,
Yeah.
and they say no to the silly things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, man, how are they so much more successful than me? Or how do they have so much more money than me? Or how do they hang out with all these people? Or how do they say yes to this? How do they say yes to this? And it's like, oh, well, they said no to playing video games until 3 a.m. They said no to X, Y, and Z. They said no to this. They said no to that. It's like, oh, but I said yes to that and yes to that and yes to that.
Yeah.
And I wonder why I can't develop a new skill, or why I don't have that relationship with God that I want, or all of those things.
Yeah.
Sorry about the pie
Sometimes
thing.
people are hungry, so they need multiple pieces of pie. It's like sitting down and getting coffee with somebody. right? Is that what you're saying? Like if
I'm not tracking.
I
I'm
was
back to being off the boat again.
if I'm hungry, but what I mean by hungry is I need.
But
to
I don't have
spend
any more
time
pie
with-
to give you.
Yes. But sometimes I require 2 pieces of pie instead of 1 piece of pie or
Right.
no pieces of pie.
Right. And sometimes I don't have any pie to give because I played video games all day.
Right.
Okay.
That was a good analogy, though.
We should have pie tonight.
We have cupcakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we do have cupcakes.
My thought while you guys were talking was going to, like, for me, what the difference between like living a hurried life versus just like having a lot of things on your plate. Because I think you can be really intentional with the time that you have, even if it's small, to really have like a solid faith in the time that you spend with the Lord.
Sure.
And I was thinking of like a crazy situation, or like even people that I talk to in my job when they're like, yeah, I'm struggling with my faith because I have this and this and this and this and this to do. But then I could look at somebody else that has those same things, but like they have such a rich relationship with the Lord because they're prioritizing it.
Right.
And if you're like a single mom and you have tons of jobs and you're carting your kids around, there are things of life you just have to do.
Yeah.
But they could have a much stronger faith and better time with the Lord than like I might have, for an example, just because like they might be prioritizing things that I might not be, even in their busy life. And I could be just as busy, but like if I'm not taking the time to really sit and slow when I have the opportunity, and it might look different, but if I'm not doing that, it's gonna drain me.
Yeah. And I do wonder how much it's no secret. Like the enemy doesn't have to do these crazy elaborate schemes to get us distracted, right? Like the simple fact of having too many things to do, even good things. Like sometimes I think of when we're leading up to, big events at the church or big, holidays or stuff like that. Like just how easy it is for it to be draining and then tiring, and then you start to not be as graceful, and you start like there's there's a lot to that, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I would even make the argument that I feel like for most people, the things that are making them feel hurried are probably all good things. It's just figuring out which ones you can sacrifice and which ones are the priority for this season of life that you're in.
Yeah. I thought you were just raising your hand. I was like, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. It's the light refraction. Well, and I think like in the busyness, what is so funny? Like I'm just making
You're
statements.
just funny today.
I think
a
you're
funny
just
guy.
making fun of me today.
I don't.
Do we need to talk about that instead?
No. Could be a future episode. How to love your
roast.
How to love your friends
A
well.
little therapy
Yeah, that's-
session.
Oh, yeah, the roast.
Same thing.
Okay.
We'll do them back to back. A roast and then how to love your friends well.
Good.
Or maybe the other way. How to love your friends well and then roast them.
Oh, that's nice.
So in our busyness, what do you guys see? Do you guys see like escapist behaviors? The kind of, what would you say some of them are, even in your own life?
I sleep a lot.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I'll just sleep in instead of getting up and do something.
And you specifically have a little bit of a luxury with the flexibility in your schedule. Because I would love to do that, but like I'm expected at work at a certain time in the morning.
Yeah.
So I can't always. I'm more the grump who's like walking in being like, I want to be asleep right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I get to work the afternoon night shift.
Yeah.
The night shift.
I mean, most nights I am here.
That's true.
You're not wrong. I would say anything that brings like some kind of like mental disconnect, whether it is like scrolling or watching Netflix or I don't know, sometimes literally just like having a conversation with someone, but like I'm not really in it. It's just literally to get my mind off of something, which like I don't think is always wrong, but I guess in the way that like I fall into it sometimes, it's just literally anything to like let my brain have some rest when that's not the place I should be seeking it in because it's so temporary. And then the moment I'm done and I set my phone down, it all floods back in.
And did we actually let our brains rest?
No,
Or did
it was
we
just
fill it up?
distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it wasn't restful at all. It just like felt like it for like 5 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
And then it all comes back in.
Yeah.
And then it feels worse than it even started with because I was just ignoring it. And then it's just like a slap in the face when like reality hits again.
Yeah. I was thinking about that even with Lent. Like, I gave up social media during the week and would only look at it like for a couple hours on Sunday if I had time. And now that I have it back, it's like, man, you just go right back to this old pattern so fast where you're like, oh, I'm bored. Ding, ding, ding. And you're like, what in the world?
Like a dog returning to its vomit.
That's biblical.
Did you send me that yesterday?
The dog returning to its vomit.
I don't think
No. Another shout out. Blake did. That's funny that you said that. Because Blake and I were talking about something that doesn't need to be brought up while we're live on the mic, but he sent me that verse in a picture as encouragement, and it was quite funny in the moment. But
That's
You're welcome.
that's funny that
Good job,
Blake and
Trevor.
I were like this.
yeah.
Who's Blake?
Yes.
I think for me, I mean, the one thing I go back and forth with is I sometimes use like watching things or doing like certain activities as like an escapism thing, but I also just enjoy doing it sometimes. Like I don't feel like it feels like an escapism thing all the time. For example, right now I'm in between like 4 shows because I have 4 shows I'm watching that are coming out with new episodes every week. It's really nice. I have 2 coming out on Wednesdays, 1 on Tuesday and 1 on Monday. But that I feel like I'm not necessarily watching it. Like I'll wait until like Wednesday night, Thursday night to watch all of them. But I don't feel like I'm doing it as an escapism way currently. Whereas I have had times where I have felt like I'm like, oh, I'm watching this only because I'm trying to escape from, the real world. So you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like a weird balance of in this season where I have all these shows coming out, I just like watching the shows and I want to see what's
Yeah.
happening in each of them. Whereas that could also then feed into an escapism thing. So I think that's the other thing with it too is like the things aren't inherently wrong. Things
No.
that we do that are escapism
Sure.
things aren't inherently wrong. But it's when you start to realize like, oh, actually I was doing that for like 4 hours in a row where I could have been doing something else and I am doing it to like almost mask and try to escape from what God wants me to do right now.
Yeah. That's interesting that I'm not sure if this is completely true of everyone specifically in your age, but like it is wild the advent of TV where all you could do to watch TV was wait each week for your show, then gave way to an entire season dropping that people would binge. And now studios have gone back to this
Yeah.
building anticipation weekly, almost like that's how it probably should have been in the first place.
Right.
But also, like, how does that affect that spirit of like constantly having to fill your time? It was one of those. I remember a couple shows when they would drop the whole season and you would just sit there for like 2 days straight.
Right.
And it's like, well, it's actually probably better for everyone's,
Right.
mental health to space it out a little bit.
And it's a good business strategy.
Well, sure.
Depending on what the show is. Unless it's a bad show and then you having to wait a week makes you not care about it anymore.
What if they did that with sports? Like they have already played all the games and they just drop a whole
Just one at a
NFL
time.
season.
That would be wild.
that would be
day.
wild.
That would be like.
They should start doing that.
I mean, it
can't
would make
even
attending in
fathom
person
that.
so much more valuable.
They would just use AI crowd
Oh my God.
like Madden.
Wow. This
Well,
could
yeah,
be
I think
something.
if you did attend in person, yeah, but how would you even do
NDA.
Oh my gosh.
You would not hold me to that with an NDA.
Oh,
that?
I know.
I don't think you'd hold
Whole season.
80,000 people in a sports arena to that.
Well,
but,
they are pushing people out of watching sports. They are making it to where only rich people can go.
yeah,
Especially the Bills. America's team?
that's its
Definitely
own.
not.
They've
That's its
never
own
called that.
podcast episode.
The Bills.
No, just
Praise God.
the advent of
Sports fandom.
sports
Ooh.
fandom.
Yeah.
I will talk
Sports
about
betting.
that.
We should have a gambling episode.
We
Not
should
one
get a
where we do
gambling
it.
sponsor.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Who should we have sponsored?
We should get a gambling
We're
sponsor.
getting
Kelce.
off topic.
Yeah, and did we not just talk about the other day how people can go on and on and on about sports stuff, but when it comes to the Bible, it's
We did talk
Brought
about
to you
that.
by FanDuel.
my gosh.
No, Kelshi.
Who's that?
It's a new one.
Oh. Went over my head and landed in the ocean where the Mayflower is.
It hit the Mayflower.
Probably did hit the Mayflower.
I love a good full circle moment.
Yeah. So what do you guys think it would look like if we adjusted our busiest day in our schedule?
Oh gosh.
Like per week, busiest day?
Yeah, like just if we took a shot at like, I don't know, changing what that looks like. Like for me, every other Wednesday, I literally did it this way, but I stacked all my meetings at work into that Wednesday. And I thought it was going to be helpful, but now I'm like, I dread every other Wednesday.
Hate that day.
And it almost like makes me check out at work where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, here's the next meeting. Yep, this, okay, next. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be getting, I only do this every other week. I'm supposed to be getting some concrete updates here. But what do you guys think that would look like for your own lives? I just gave a really bad example.
Well, I was going to say, starting with that day, what would it look like for you to switch it around?
I think you could probably spread the meetings out, but you could, not probably could. You could spread the meetings out.
There's a chance you could.
Yeah.
Can you restate your original question one more time?
What would it look like if we reoriented like our busiest day to not be so busy?
Okay. So I'm going to speak to something that I feel like applies to you two probably the most. So I feel like my busiest days are Sundays because, plot twist, we work at a church. It's a busy day. It feels very long, very chaotic. I mean, it's an amazing day, but it feels like a lot sometimes. And when I look at the reality of it, I'm like, okay, I can't actually change what it looks like. It's
Shut down services.
it's gonna go on whether I want it to or not, whether we're here or not, like it's still gonna happen. And so I'm like, okay, I can't change that, and I don't really want to change it because I do love it, and like it's the work the Lord's called me to do. But I think more to the priority like of like your Sabbath and of like resting for something. And so I just reflect for myself on how I could then reorient my like rest day and actually prioritize it and not stuff things in on my weekend and like my days off, but actually use it to rest, use it to reflect, use it to have quiet time, use it to prepare me for the ministry that I'm going to be doing the next day. I mean, all of the days, but like really the next day. And so I guess that's where my mind goes to, of like not changing the day, but changing how I prepare for those busy times. Because some things we just can't change.
Sure.
There are going to be days like your every other Wednesday that just are going to be like that and we have no say in it. And so I think it's important to reflect on how we can prepare, how we can lead on the Lord when we get in moments where we just can't change it. And we just need to trust him and let him be our strength and our peace through what sometimes feels like a storm.
Yeah.
So,
The yoke that he told us he'd
literally,
carry.
yeah, the
Yeah,
scripture
that
we
one.
just referenced. Let him do that for you
Yeah.
in the busy moments.
Well, that's good, Ashley. That's good stuff.
Did you have thoughts on that, Hunter?
Ditto. Right? No, but I also think that, well, so I work at a church. I'm sure you know that, Chris. I'm
do,
only
yeah.
directing that at you because I'm on the stage with two of my other coworkers. But I think, you. Yeah.
2.5.
I think that, actually, I don't know if you can say that.
We work
you
with
say
Chris
that?
so much.
I don't know. Sometimes. Either way, my point being that sometimes the busyness can also look like my own personal time with God doesn't look as good because I'm working at a church. So like in my mind, sometimes I can find myself going like, oh, well, I'm, writing a lesson or I'm reading my Bible because I'm planning for something or I'm doing something like this. But that isn't actually me spending time with the Lord. It's me doing it for the task that has to be done. The Holy Spirit's guiding me as I'm doing it, but it isn't the same as me intentionally going and reading the Bible for myself and spending that time. So I think even just being more mindful of that when I find myself getting stuck in that pattern or in that rhythm of like, well, I have to write this lesson or this message for student life on Wednesday night, but I'm still going to spend time earlier in the day before that and like read God's word for myself and read it to fill myself up rather than the busyness of, well, I got to get this message done. I got to do all this stuff. That's my time with God today.
Yeah.
Making sure that isn't my time with God for the day is something that I know I could do.
Yeah. There's almost like you can probably attest to this and speak to it, but there's almost an inherent danger in ministry for that exact thing.
Yeah.
Because your work is these things. And yes, you are spending time with the Lord. But if it's not, if you're constantly preparing for someone else and not preparing for what the Lord wants to do in your own heart,
Yeah.
you know, you can get yourself caught in that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Totally.
I spend a ton of time in prayer and the Word and all these kind of things for all that stuff.
Yeah.
But where is it that the Lord's working on your own
Totally.
heart?
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on that?
No, I'd say very similarly. I mean, there's a lot of things that like I've got a very wonky schedule. I've got some early mornings in the week. I've got some late nights in the week. And like that's just my job. And then you add in like the extracurriculars, like leading a group. That is a late night. I'm in another group. That is a late night. I'm in another group. That is an early morning.
Church softball.
I've got a softball league that I'm in. And like, so it's learning to say yes to the right things, where to devote my pie to, not the Mayflower.
Who are you feeding the pie to?
But also then making sure that like I'm saying no to things as well, not because they're bad, but because I need a time to recharge and to rest and to recoup. Because like if I just do all of those things, like if I just look at them and I did just one of them a day, be like that was fun, I enjoyed that. But when I don't ever have time to rest and sit with God or to just rest like what Jesus did, then it's like, man, everything then becomes a chore. And so I'm trying to do a better job of protecting at least one night a week where I am like I'm home and like that is what I'm doing. I'm just at home. If I play games, great. If I watch TV, great. If I go to bed early, great. If I watch a movie, great. Like whatever it is. But just trying to do a better job of that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing well.
Oh. That's
I was gonna
that's the first
ask,
step, though.
I was going to ask if that's going well.
No.
Why would you say not?
I keep saying yes to things.
Well, that just leads us into where I wanted to go next. So in Luke
Look at you.
chapter 10, starting in verse 38, anyone know that Bible story?
Mary and Martha.
Yeah, you're looking at my screen. That's okay. So it said, as Jesus and his disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught, but Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and she said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all the details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about, and Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. We hear that story so often, and every time I've heard a preacher preach on it, I'm going to do the same thing. But they always say...
Cry? Oh.
No. They always say, who do you relate with, Mary or Martha? And there'll always be that one person who's like, I'm just like Mary. I just want to sit at Jesus' feet. And every time, I'm like, nope, I am Martha through and through. Like, I just cannot. I look at this story and I'm just like, but the dinner needed work. Like, something needed to be done. So, like, for you guys, where do you see yourselves in that story? And, like, what you were just sharing about trying to carve out that day or say no to those things, like where has that story intersected with your own life with some of those things?
Is there another character that's like even further removed and like so focused on like the back end stuff? That'd be me.
Super Martha.
The gardener.
The gardener, the farmer. Yeah. No, definitely not Mary most times. I was going to try to joke and say I'm Mary. That'd be a lie. And then that's not good.
No.
What about you guys? Do either of you feel like you're Mary or Martha?
I wouldn't say I'm Mary necessarily. I think I'd like to be
Ooh.
Mary more than I am.
I
Kinda
feel
rhymed.
like you're more of... I actually feel like both of you are probably more Marys.
I think there are parts of me for sure. Ashley, I think, is Martha, no offense.
It's okay, Hunter. We're friends.
I know,
you,
but
you see me in my tendencies.
Hey, and that's why I'd let you say that I'm also Martha, depending on the situation.
so we got 4 Marthas.
Well, I think
No.
it depends on the time. I think it depends on the time.
Oh, let's not start doing that again.
No.
Where we go into this
Tangent.
hyper, breaking down the story into hyper.
Okay, so basically, in these days I'm Mary, and these days I'm Martha.
Odd days I'm Mary, off. Even days I'm Martha.
Ashley, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I
Can I
would
ignore the voice?
historically sit in my own self-pity and be like, I'm just like a Martha because I can't slow down and I don't know how to stop and I'm getting bitter about it and my sister's over here sitting with Jesus and not helping. But I sit with this story quite a bit because I feel like it is like, it's an incredible story in the Bible, but I feel like it becomes such like a cliche story of like, are you Mary or Martha? Like you started this
Yeah.
with. But I often sit in this position where like I envision the story playing out in my head. So like as you were reading it, I'd like shut my eyes and I was trying to watch it. And I always see the story from the perspective of like being outside of their house, like peering in the window, like watching the story play out. And I feel like I just always sit in this position of just like, I am just like happy to just like watch and like, I just want the choice. Like I just want to be there. And I feel like I so often spend my time more trying to figure out if I'm one or the other than actually just being one. I don't know if that actually answers your question, but I just like, I feel like I get so
Ashley's her own
torn.
character.
I feel like I live like in this weird in between that like I want to be both of them because I think that there are moments to like serve Jesus. I know in the story that like Martha's not necessarily choosing the right thing in the moment. But I feel like I get torn in this like back and forth between the two characters.
Yeah, because then you go to the story of the woman with the expensive jar of perfume who's serving Jesus. And so
Yes.
there is that like tension there, right? Of, well, in that story, this person is like wholeheartedly serving Jesus. And it seems like Martha is just trying to do the same exact thing. But then Jesus is like, no, you should, you know.
He's like, I know your heart.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes, like, I'm sure we've all had it where we've been at a party or an event or something where there's that one person who's like, just come in here. Like, don't worry about what's going on in the kitchen or don't worry about the food. It'll be fine. Come see, you know.
Come hang out with your friends.
Hang out with your friends or watch the baby open a gift or, you know, someone do the cake or whatever it might be. And then there's always that other person who's just like, would you come help me do the dishes? I feel like every party has that tension. So
Yeah.
there's so much. You read that story and you're just like, oh man, this is like, it could have been written 2 weeks ago on some mom influencer's blog. You know, like it just, that's how it reads to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's not a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
No.
It just forces me to reflect on my own heart when I am in both of those positions.
Sure.
Of am I sitting with God because like I genuinely want to receive and I want to sit with him, or am I just being lazy and I don't want to do anything?
True.
Or am I serving out of a place of like genuinely wanting to serve the Lord, or am I just doing it because I think that I have to, or I'm doing it to distract myself? And so I have put myself in both of those shoes before, but I have to remind myself to think about why I associate with that person in the story.
It's very wise because I think a lot of people don't do that. I think they let it be an emotional response and they don't actually sit with, yeah, but why? Like why? Because that is a good question to ask between the, am I doing this for this thing or am I being lazy? Like, and I don't think a lot of us even get to that point because we are just so distracted with life and the busyness and all that kind of stuff. But
I feel like one day where I do a good job of being Mary is actually on Sundays, which I feel like can be a tough time to do that. You know what I mean? Like, especially, again, working at a church, I feel like it can be really easy to get caught up on the tasks and be
Sure.
like, man, I got to get this done, this done, this done. This wasn't done early in the week. I got to figure it out now. But I feel like that is one area where I do a good job of being in that Mary role where I am able to take a step back. Like, it surprises me sometimes how I'm just like, oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to spend time with God, but I'm also going to spend time with these people, and I'm going to, you know, be here for them. So I think that's one area where I can noticeably see, like, no, I am Mary in that situation rather than being Martha. Because, like what you're saying, like, there's almost like a time and a place for both of them. Both are important in their own ways. Mary's harder to achieve, I feel, but not impossible either.
Why? Why do you think that is?
Which part?
To be like Mary.
Like, that's harder to achieve,
Yeah.
Mary? Because of part one of our conversation about how everything is really fast-paced and hurried and, like, there's tasks that need to be done, so let's focus on all of these first and avoid being able to slow down and spend that time with Christ, even if it is like simple as thanking Him. Gratitude can be difficult in the fastness. What?
Yeah, and like our culture has raised us to be so task oriented. Like we don't even live in a culture where there's like regular meditation or there's cultures that like have these other things in them,
Right.
And so I think that's what makes it more difficult too, is like there is that healthy tension there where we're constantly like, yeah, but I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do that, and you almost get yourself to a point where if you don't, or if you're like, oh, I'm gonna stop and just sit with the Lord, you like start to talk yourself out of it because of all the things that are gonna happen, like pile up.
Right.
I guess you could say.
Well, we associate worth with to-do lists getting checked off, and how much can I get done, and am I a good enough employee, or am I a good enough significant other, or am I a good enough friend? And that's where our worth comes from. Is like, or we tend to do that of like, how much can I get done? My net worth is this, and I have this car, and I've got this. What am I contributing to society? And we can get so caught up in that. But when in reality, we need to be more like Mary and realize that where does our worth come from? Our worth comes from God and who He says I am. And then out of that, then it's like, okay, now I know that when I go and do this thing, that God has called me to do this thing, and I'm equipped to do this thing, and He's given me the grace and the freedom and the wisdom to do this thing. And then it's like, okay, now I can actually walk in this actually more confidently and humbly, rather than being like, okay, I have to do this to earn this. It's, no, I get to do this because of what He did for me and who He says I am. And I definitely struggle with that. I am a perfectionist, and I'm one that doesn't like to make mistakes. And so then when I do make a mistake, it's like, okay, there goes everything.
Right.
And so I could stand to do a little bit more sitting.
Yeah.
You like that? Stand to do
good,
some
yeah.
more sitting
That was fun.
at the feet of Jesus, and realize that no, like everything else comes out of that.
Yeah.
And I know that, right? I've heard this story a million times, and
Well, I
whatnot,
think
but
that, yeah, like I think we all know it.
Right.
Right.
yeah,
It's just like, it's so funny how we have to come back of, oh yeah, that's our source of
Yeah.
strength. And then we go far, and we're like, oh yeah,
right. Well, it talks
our,
like
source of strength.
he talks about like having faith like a child. How many children do you know like to do the dishes? Very few.
4.
Or like pick up their toys or whatever. Very few.
Yeah.
What do kids like to do? They like to sit in the middle of the room next to their parents and play with their toys there, or just be near their parents. And I think that sometimes we forget that we get so focused of being the teenager that, oh, I got to do my chores, and I wish, like, you know, my 6-year-old brother would do this. But it's like, no, like, I need that childlike faith of like, I just want to beg and ask my parents to get on the floor and play with me.
Yeah.
And Jesus wants to meet us on our floor and be like, no, I'm here with you, and you are not alone. And then it's like, let's go do this together, rather than the other way around of, I'll get this done so then I can do this. So
Yeah. That's. I feel like that's a good place to pause the conversation for today. We're gonna keep it going.
about 10
next
minutes.
time. Yeah. I don't tell the people when we record the next one.
I do.
So yeah, I think that's great. I think it's a good place for us to sit in for a little bit for community night in May. We're going to talk about trying to unhurry our lives as well. I think it's like so necessary because we're so. I just had a conversation with someone this afternoon who's like, well, I think I should do this, and I think I should do this, and I think I should try it, because by the time I get to this age, I need to look back and at least say that I did it. I'm like, whoa, it's just
Right.
maybe not.
Live in
Like,
the moment.
Yeah, like maybe not. Like just take a breath. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
taste and see that the Lord is good. Be still and know that He is God. So yeah, until next time, we'll call that a day.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right.